Where we're broadcasting from Gauteng. As I told you in the beginning of the broadcast, a hotly contested province. It really, really is. But one party that was missing here was the EFF. And I remember during our last debate here in Gauteng, they were confident that they were going to get this province. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. But it was good to have the other political parties having a voice as well. But I think what's really interesting about this election are the born frees. These are the youth. These are the people that are voting for the very first time and that were born into a free country, and that being in the dawn of democracy. We've got two first-time voters and two that'll only be voting in the next election because they're not of age as yet. They're 17 years old. But you're going to be voting for the first time. Firstly, what is your name?
My name is Wandile Mama.
Nice to have you on the program. How are you feeling for the 7th of May? I mean, you've heard so many things that have been spoken about. You saw this political debate happening here. It's the first time that you're voting in a democratic country. How are you feeling?
I think it's a mixture of emotions. So I am excited, of course, to be voting for the first time. But also it is a little bit disappointing because you look around the environment, and you don't see as much change as you should be seeing. So it's quite confusing for a youngster. And also, they have nice policies, most of the parties. But getting things done is more difficult.
Do you keep yourself up to date with the policies? Do you listen? Do you read about the economic policies?
That's correct, yeah.
You do?
Yes, I do.
That's
so I
fantastic
even
to
look
hear.
at the State of the Nation's address.
Good.
You have to keep up to date if you're going to vote.
Yeah.
But, it's said that most of the things that are written down don't become a reality in time that is changeable.
Yeah. Do your friends care? Or are they just going to go there and put a vote next to whoever they want to? Or do they do what you do and actually read party manifestos, listen to these debates and get involved in politics?
I think they care because after practice, so we go for soccer practice, we do speak about the parties, we do speak about the things that are happening now, what is facing us, what might happen, and what we'd like to see tomorrow. So, yeah, I'd love to think they care from the conversations we have.
Excellent. All right, what is your name?
My name is Noluthando Nkosi.
Okay, Noluthando. What about you? You're voting for the first time as well.
Yes.
We've heard, I'm very impressed with this young man, that he keeps up to date with politics and he knows what the political parties stand for and is going in there as an educated voter. How do you feel you're going into the polling station? Do you know your parties, or are you just maybe following in your parents' footsteps, or what are you going to do?
Oh, well, for me, voting for the very first time in my life, I'm very excited, I must say. The only thing I know about the political parties is the one I'm hoping to vote for, because I read a lot about those parties, which I can't say which are those parties.
Yeah,
now.
no, you don't have to tell us.
Those are the parties that I read about, that I get interested in.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So that's what you do. You research the party you want to vote
Yes.
for. Are you happy with the world you're living in, with the country we're living in?
Yeah, I'd say 50% chances I am happy, and some of them are a bit skeptic.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Your name?
Kemalithile.
Okay. Now you're not voting, but still, you're in the education system. You'll be voting in the next elections. How are you feeling? What would you like to see happen?
I would like to see the political parties keeping up with their promises and living up to them, because all we've seen all these years is that they keep on saying, we'll do that, we'll do this, we'll do that, and they never did.
All right. And for you, your name is?
Glenn, this one.
All right. Tell me about your feelings.
Okay, what I feel about our political parties, the most important thing about it is that there's no unity in our parties and there is no peace. So without unity and peace, that means our country will never be developed. So for it to be developed, we must be all united and we must have peace.
Okay, thank you. So that's talking to the youth here. I'm moving forward because there's so much noise I can't actually hear. And at the same time, we've been joined by Trevor Ngwane, who is he's a social worker here in the area. And it's social activist actually here in Gauteng. What issues would you really like to see being addressed in these elections and by political parties?
Yeah, you see, Leanne, elections are important, but they don't tell us everything about how the people feel. I think that if you look at the protests, if you look at the fact that we are now in a 12-week strike on the platinum mines, there is a lot of anger and frustration among ordinary, poor, working class people in South Africa.
Yeah.
And I don't think that any of the parties, maybe some of the small ones, really have a solution. I just hear them, as the young man was saying, repeating old formulas, promising economic growth. I think more worried about their party list, how many members they can put in, than addressing the deep anger. Remember that when people like Ronnie Castril say, don't vote or spoil your ballot, it's a reflection that maybe there are not so many options in front of the masses of the people. Yeah, but I do think that there is hope, because we can see, with unions like NUMSA breaking away, with all these protests, it means ordinary people are taking matters into their own hands.
Yeah.
After this election, I think we'll see something like a pre-revolutionary situation in South Africa.
All right, Trevor, thank you. Thank you for those words. Those are the final words we've got here out of this broadcast. So I think that we leave it on a, I suppose, an unanswered note. There seems to be a lot of issues that are around in this province, and a lot needs to be done in this province in the run-up to the elections, and not just promises, because I know there are a lot of promises during an election time, and deeds will be signed over and everything will be done just before the elections. But what happens after the elections are what important. So study your political parties, find out what they're promising you, and go out and vote for the party you feel that's going to make your life better. All right, there you go. That's Gauteng, wrapped up, done and finished for our election roadshow, but we'll still be reporting on it all the time. Thank you so much for watching, everybody.